If the wildest part of the Rashan Gary trade is not just what Dallas gained, but what Green Bay is now being forced to live through. Cowboys Nation, because this is where the story gets juicy. The conversation in that cut makes a sharp point. The Packers are now dealing with some of the same pain Dallas already felt when the Michael Parsons situation held everything hostage. And that matters because it tells you this Gary move is not just about adding a player. It is about correcting a roster problem Dallas has already learned the hard way. Cowboys.com's own coverage of the defensive rebuild makes it clear Gary fills a very specific kind of role, a physical edge defender who can rush and play the run in multiple fronts. That sounds simple, but yeah, those guys are not easy to find. Look at what Dallas needed. They needed somebody who could give this defense some DeMarcus Lawrence energy again. Somebody who would set the edge, take on dirty work, and still threaten the quarterback. Gary has 24.5 sacks over the past 3 seasons, according to the official Cowboys defensive redesign piece. But just as important is the way the team talks about him. Productive, versatile, and willing to do the hard part of the job. That is why this isn't just pass rush candy. This is trench identity. This is football with mud on it. And here's where Dallas deserves some credit. The team did not blow up the future to get him. NFL.com reported Gary agreed to a reworked contract after the trade, bringing his number to $16 million in each of the next 2 seasons and helping lower Dallas's cap hit in the process. That means the Cowboys landed a serious defensive piece and still preserved flexibility. Now that is how you build. Not every move has to be fireworks. Sometimes the smartest move is getting a needed player at a manageable cost in a role your coaches already know how to maximize. Now, does that mean Dallas is done? No shot. The official tracker shows a flood of moves already. Gary, Jalen Thompson, P.J. Locke, Kobe Durant, Ogbanya, Howell, Hennessy, and more. But the middle of the defense still feels unfinished. That is the tension. Gary helps the edge. Thompson and Locke help the back end. Kobe Durant helps the corner room. But linebacker? That still feels like the room where Dallas needs one more grown-up in the building. Cowboys discussions this week have kept circling names like Bobby Okereke, Bobby Wagner, and Matt Milano for exactly that reason. Experience, communication, and somebody you trust to line things up. And that is why I think this whole story should actually make Cowboys fans feel better, because it shows the team is learning. Dallas lived through the chaos of trying to patch the front without fully replacing what DeMarcus Lawrence meant structurally. Now they are not waiting around. They went and got Gary. They gave Christian Parker a real piece to work with. They kept layering the secondary, and they still have room to keep building. That is not panic. That is progression. So if you ask me where this is headed, I think the Cowboys are trying to become harder to play against before they become flashier. Tougher on early downs, more disciplined on the edge, smarter in the secondary, more multiple everywhere. And if they nail the linebacker answer too, then the defense starts feeling like it can actually carry its weight instead of leaning on the offense to fix every mess. That is the dream. That is the shift. So now I want to hear from you. Did the Rashan Gary trade prove Dallas finally learned from the old Parsons D-Law roster problem, or do you still think they're one major move away on defense? Hit the comments, drop your take, like the video, and subscribe, because this Cowboys defense is starting to tell a real story.